Hey guys, I am back again. I know that it's not Monday and the book that I'm reading, well, I read it as an ARC, but it's already out. I'm catching up, I'm doing my thing, I'm trying really hard to still get videos out, and we're doing the best that we can. So again, sorry that this is a day late, sorry that the ARC review is late, but you know what? I'm here and I got it done eventually. So thank you to the publisher and Edelweiss for my ARC. But again, this book is now out, so you can make your own decisions, and maybe you already have if you're watching this video. I don't know, but I feel like I have had very similar complaints in my reviews lately, and it kind of feels like I've been reading some of the same books. And this one, again, it kind of feels a little bit more of the same. And at this point I'm thinking, okay, so this is like a trend in romance right now for some reason that we need to talk about. So the book that we're talking about today is 4 Weekends and a Funeral by Ellie Palmer. And as far as Goodreads says, this is a debut, which may be part of the reason some of this book felt a little bit unbalanced. But so the story behind this book is it is really the story of Allie, and she is a survivor of a double mastectomy because she is a BRCA gene carrier. And you may start to be feeling, wow, this really sounds like the Farrah Heron book, which also had someone who was actively going through a double mastectomy in that book. Yes, very similar. So if you need books about women going through mastectomies in romance novels, that's apparently a trend right now. It's not a bad thing. The thing that we're going to talk about is how this book handled it in the genre of a romance novel. Allie has had her double mastectomy a while ago. She has gone through recovery. She has been through that whole thing. So it's not quite like the Farrah Heron book where she's actively in recovery. But after her surgery, because her mother had, the way they found out about this was her mother had gotten cancer and had to go through chemo and survived and this whole thing. Allie really has like survivor's guilt because she feels like, you know, because she was able to have preventative surgery that, you know, she has survivor's guilt, kind of feels a little bit like weird about that. And like, okay, if she's been given the second chance in life, then she needs to go out and really do something with her life. And she's been trying to push herself to be more, I guess is a really good word. And in this is when she meets Sam. Sam is a adventure influencer. He is always like just picking up and like going backpacking for 10 days in Patagonia and all this stuff. And Allie was really using him to try to like become like him, to push herself now that she has this new lease on life. Didn't really fit though, and neither did the relationship. So she and Sam have broken up a few weeks prior to the start of this novel. This novel opens at Sam's funeral. He has sadly driven his car into an accident and he has passed away. And Allie shows up at this funeral to pay her respects. Obviously the relationship, it had really petered out. It wasn't a very long relationship, just a couple of months. But obviously, you know, she's very sad this has happened and she's gone. Well, at the funeral, she finds out that because Sam was trying to be seen as more of like an adult than his parents really thought that he was, he had not told them that he had broken up with Allie because his parents in particular really thought Allie was the settling down type of girl. And so everyone is calling her Sam's girlfriend in the present tense. So she goes from someone who's like trying to hide at the back of the funeral to like being put in prime real estate. Now, Allie wants to set the record straight. However, she is asked by Sam's sister, Rachel, to just go along with it because Rachel is trying to soften all of these blows, this very sudden blow that her parents, particularly her mother, are taking from this death. And she's like, can you just not tell them that you broke up so that my mom like has this image of, you know, her son who was like, you know, settling down and it just doesn't get this blow of, you know, he had broken up with her. Allie's a people pleaser. She says yes, and then it continues to go downhill from there. Sam's condo needs to be packed up so that they can sell it, and Sam's mom is just like, I cannot have somebody else do this. I don't have strangers touching Sam's stuff, but I can't do it. It hurts too much. And so Allie says, I'll do it, along with Sam's best friend, Adam. Adam has only been known to Allie during their relationship as the North Shore Grump, to give you some idea about his general personality. It's grumpy. And Allie, she's like, as a talker, a people pleaser, a smiler, she's like, this is gonna go terrible, and Adam thinks I was the girlfriend. It's like a whole thing. But they end up packing up Sam's house over the course of 4 weekends. So that is where we get 4 weekends and a funeral. Of course, the wrinkle is that Allie and Adam have an immediate attraction, but both of them are trying to deal with their own grief, their own personal trauma, the things that Sam's death has really kind of unpacked for them or brought to the fore of their brains. And also, Adam thinks that at the time of Sam's death, Allie was dating Sam, that they were in love, when in fact, again, that relationship had long petered out and hadn't really been that deep to begin with. This is a single POV romance, and as you may know if you've seen my reviews before, those are not my favorite. I feel like it is much better, especially with someone who's not very wordy like Adam is, who clearly has a lot going in internally. It's just a far richer novel to have his thoughts also be a part of the conversation, even if they, like, we can see both sides, but the two characters are not communicating very well. This is purely from Allie's perspective, and really that ends up making it Allie's novel. Like I said, Allie is still dealing with that survivor's guilt. Still now, like, Sam has died, and he had all of these dreams, and he was a traveler, and, you know, he's not going to be able to live those dreams now. And, you know, she has the guilt of, like, kind of falling for his best friend. And there's just, like, a lot going on. There's also a side story with her and 2 of her best friends. There's a bar trivia championship involved. So there's, like, that side story. Those people are, of course, just Allie's friends, so, like, those are dynamics that are just involving her. And you find out over the course of the novel that Adam definitely has his own emotional depth that could have generated fodder for his own chapters and helped us to understand him more. But this novel really ends up being about Allie, her BRCA gene mutation, you know, what happened to her before and after the mastectomy, and also incurring this relationship with her mom, where they're both feeling like guilt and struggle, you know, her mom for giving her the gene, and Allie for not getting cancer like her mom did. And it's all dealt with really, really wonderfully. It's a very beautiful and emotional story, but that is the story with a romance on the side. And as Adam's feelings begin to become clearer, in the beginning, his, like, behavioral changes, right, as he's clearly making his own realizations and moving forward in the relationship, dealing with some of his own stuff that will come out later, so I can't tell you about it because I don't want to spoil it. It just starts to feel really weird, and it just starts to feel like, okay, so, like, his, like, emotional showing to Allie is changing because we need this plot to, like, move forward. And again, there really is, by the end of the novel, just realizing that, you know, Adam really does have a lot of his own grief and stuff to deal with that just ends up being like a surprise moment towards the end almost. And it just felt very unbalanced, and I was really sad that we didn't get to see more of that play out, even just from the inside of his own head. So again, I don't want to tell you that I don't think that you should read this book, but I do think that you should go into it with the appropriate expectation. It is a romance novel. Their romance happens over 4 weekends. It is an explicit romance novel, and it does say, again, beautiful things about being a BRCA gene carrier, the double mastectomy, the potentiality for ovarian cancer, all that stuff, on top of the grief and everything that is happening. It is a very beautiful novel in that sense, but it is very focused on grief and health, and just, like, the romance again is just kind of like on the side of a novel talking about a lot of other things. It doesn't make it a bad book, but if you are looking for a happy romance novel, something really light and sparkly to read, it is not this. And if you're looking something that is romance focused, it's not this. Again, that's just not what I was looking for out of this book. And because I was not aware of that, it ended up really making me just feel like the book was unbalanced and was just really not what I wanted to be reading at the time. But that's why I do these reviews, right? So that if you are thinking about reading this book, that you can go into it with more of a understood expectation of what this book both will and will not be. And maybe it will change your reaction to it. I ended up giving it like 3 stars because it was fine. But I am also in a very like emotional place in my life right now. I have had death in my own family recently. And so like this was just not the headspace that I wanted to be in. And it was not the romance-focused romance novel that I thought I was going to be reading. Again, this and Just Playing House, the Farrah Heron book, are wonderful descriptions of women who are going through something that is something that we don't talk about a lot, especially in romance novels, right? Because even in the Farrah Heron novel, like she's actively in recovery and her body is in pain and is, you know, been cut open. And so it's definitely not something that you would like, people be like, oh, that doesn't go in a romance novel, when like everyone deserves a romance story, and to see themselves represented in finding love and joy and happiness. So again, I'm not upset that these things are in these books. It's just that I wish that there was more romance in my romance novels. Like I said, this book is already out, so maybe you found this review because you were going to read it and weren't sure if it was something that you wanted to pick up. If you did pick this up and maybe you did go into it with a better understanding of what the plot was going to be, let me know. Did you experience something different? Your thoughts on the book? I really did love the trivia storyline, and it does end in a very cutesy way, I will say that, but again, no spoilers. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.